Mastermind. Our mission is to build $1 million businesses so that we can have financial freedom, time for our families, and make an impact in our communities. Let's kick it off with some big wins. One, lead the way, sir.
Okay, good morning. So big wins for this couple of weeks. So I'm still working on getting off the letter, spending less time on the field. Like I said, I was reading the Buy Back Your Time book. So I'm doing the 10-80-10 rule, which is working pretty good for me. And I keep trying to build systems. That's what I've been working. So the time that I'm not spending on the field, I'm on the office building systems.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. I'm pulling up my number because I want to be able to say it accurately, but this last week we did two really large jobs that both were at 50% profit margins, and I was able to be pretty much entirely hands off with the projects, checking in on them periodically, but that also gave me time to do things like get headshots and do a lot more other stuff for the business. And so that was the first time I've ever ran two jobs at the same time that were pretty big jobs that went very smooth and everything was great. So that's a big win.
Winner, chicken dinner. Yes, sir. Fantastic. Way to grow and lead and then work on the business, Chris. Fantastic. Keep going, buddy. Daryl.
Yeah. Kind of what Chris was saying, it's weird. I'm in this small area geographically, and I've got constantly big jobs going. It's weird. I've got 4 employees, plus I work a little bit in the field, not much. Got 2 separate, well over $60,000 jobs I'm working on, plus a third. That's pretty cool. They've both been going really well. The one job, exterior lady's actually out of state for a couple, 2 or 3 months. And we just got over there, got started. She's just asked me, when do you need another draw? And so she's very cool. That's a $65,000 to $70,000 exterior they're working on that one. So, but I've actually been out of the field for most part for the last 3-4 weeks. I'll be working in the field a little bit today and tomorrow and the next day, just doing some metallic painting. But that's pretty cool. So I've been taking Fridays off. I've not worked a Friday in about a month. So that's cool. Yeah.
Right on. This reminds me of one of the early conversations we had, Daryl. You're like, but listen, will your system help me? Because my area is different from all these other guys who are in the big mega cities. And here you are, just crushing it. $60,000 jobs left. Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Awesome. So glad to hear that. Very good. Thank you. Florin, big wins.
Good morning, BNI. I'm sorry.
It's early. That's okay. It's daylight savings time, all that. Lack of coffee.
Big win for me, like you have seen those guys that have a big chain, gold chain hanging around.
Mr. T.
And that's what I got. It spins. And like that's $1 I got for last week. I was the best speech.
Oh, from BNI. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we talked about it, right? So I had that roof guy, I got his shirt, I put the backward. So it's all these advertising here in the front. At the moment I start just showing up the shirt, everybody, whoa, that was a big win. But from that big win, I got 2 referrals right away. Also BNI works, and also working that interior project. I've been talking like 2 weeks now. Hopefully we're gonna finish this Friday. Not sure 100%, might still. And in the same house, they just called me yesterday. They want to paint their exteriors. Another one is like around 23,000. And then last Friday, I closed a cabinet job. Like Steve, we talked like last week together. So I closed it on the spot.
Yes, sir.
And those are my big wins for this week.
Okay, it's on a roll. Nice, Florin. Thank you. Hey, Seuss. Big wins, buddy.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, so my big wins here is, since last time I've been updating a lot of stuff on our business, and then we hired a new guy as well too. So I'm looking forward to working with him.
Okay, fantastic. Glad to hear that. Bryce, morning.
Good morning. I have just been inundated with, in the past week, we've gotten at least like 10 estimates booked. We've just got a whole bunch of calls coming in. I've already sold about 20 grand in about a week, which is good. And on top of that, the other big win is y'all been hearing about lots of truck drama with me for a long time. I just submitted the final payment to having one of our trucks engines completely rebuilt, all in cash, good to go.
There
Done.
you go.
And
Fantastic.
we picked that thing up tomorrow.
Yeah. I
Sweet.
don't know if you realize it, but you had $1 million sales week. 20 a week is $1 million a year.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. No, I didn't think about it like that at all.
Okay, just keep going. You've got this.
Woo.
Okay. Sonia, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I'm Sonia Garcia with Palatable Painting in Texas, San Antonio, Texas. And I think there's Charlie's new, right?
Charlie, yeah. Charlie
Yeah.
made it. Welcome, Charlie.
Welcome.
Thank you for the short intros. Appreciate that for Charlie.
I finally remember to introduce. Okay. Oh gosh, I'm leaning in. BNI, I've found a BNI. I have one this morning at 7. Good group in the area. They're excited to have me. They're just like, oh my goodness, we need a painter. And so I was like, oh, good. This is my second visit today. But also referrals from the other networking group. That was the one that's been not as structured like a BNI, but works a little bit differently. But those women are now sending me people my way and in my target area, client area arena. So I've been working on those and being able to finally implement that referral crispy 50, or what'd you call it?
Yeah. Crispy Fit Club 50.
Club 50,
That's
there
right.
we go. And the one of them called me back and says, you didn't have to do that. I was like, you're part of the club, girl. Welcome. And so she do, she goes, oh, my son is moving and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna call him and ask him. And she's all nice.
Yeah. She's like, you didn't have to do it, but I like it. By the way, I've got 10 more. Yeah, when Club 50 hits, it's big. It's awesome. Sounds like you got a winner. Well done. Good job. Good morning, Craig. Short intro on big wins, please.
Good morning. My name is Craig Armstrong. My company is Cam Painters, and I'm up in Toronto, Canada. And I've had my business for a little over 20 years now, residential painting business. And my big win is that my crew is crushing it in terms of producing work and doing good work. And yeah, the 4th person that I've hired has worked out well. So we have 2 crews of 2. That's what's going well. That's my big win.
Awesome. Fantastic, Craig. Thank you. And Charlie, welcome to Mastermind. Glad to have you. Short intro for everybody and then big wins, please.
Absolutely. Sorry for my tardiness. I'm figuring out Wi-Fi issues in this. I'm renting out a new small office space. Yes, Charlie Cassio from New York. Nice to meet everybody here. Company's called Teal Painting. And Steve actually knows a little bit of my backstory, but I had launched our business about 2 years ago, a little bit shy of 2 years ago now, while I was working a full-time job, with the goal of at some point replacing my income to be able to focus on the business full time. So it's been 3 weeks where I'm out of my job. So I think that's the biggest win here, which has been like surreal in many ways. I feel like it was just never going to happen, but we're here now, which is awesome. And then in the last 3 weeks, now that I'm able to focus more on things and I see things much more clearly with a clear mind, the big win's a little bit of a big disappointment as well, but I'm taking it as a positive thing, because I'm seeing just so many little gaps in our processes that I wasn't able to really focus on and hone in on, and addressing everything on every front of the business at this point. So it's been really good to just have the time to solidify some of that stuff. So that's where I'm at now.
All right. Awesome. We're glad to have you, Charlie. And just to clarify, guys, he just burned the ships, right? He's all in. And he's like, all right, let's do this. And then it's so we've all been there. Yeah.
Good job, Charlie. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Right on. All right. What's one thing we can brainstorm for you, Juan, that would help you to double your business?
So the one thing, so I want to see what you guys doing when, like I said, I'm trying to step off the field. So when I do my estimates, do you guys add pictures to have clear details for the crew, what needs to be done, or you write it down specifically, or how are you guys working on that, if you don't mind?
I can answer that. What I do, Juan, I very rarely show up on my jobs starting them out. I use monday.com and it works really well. I probably don't even use it as much as it can be used. I use it to schedule the jobs, as far as letting my team know what jobs are on the schedule, the tentative schedule dates for them. You can put all that on there as job boards. You can have different job boards for different ones of your team members, who's going to lead those jobs. And then you can actually put your proposal or scope of work into a file on that. It's very simple. The team does it on their phone. They can go they can go weeks ahead of time and look at all the jobs. They can look at the address. So basically what I do, I let my team see my entire proposal, price and all. I don't have a problem with that. But you can always take the price out if you don't want to. And then they see the scope of work. They see everything that's going on, what rooms are getting done, what's not getting done. And I don't have to go over what to do on furniture and what to do on how to prep everything because that's in our SOPs. So they don't need to do all that. Monday.com has been a game changer in our business, complete game changer. Where it's a project manager. I don't have to go to my jobs. My guys started a $60,000 exterior Friday last week. I haven't been on the job yet because they know exactly what needs to be done. So it's really good. And then you can make notes on there. You can put photos on there. So Monday.com is definitely what I would do.
Okay.
But Juan, when stepping out of the field, one of the biggest mistakes we usually make is that we know what needs to be painted up here and what needs to be done, but we don't communicate all the details. And I know I was very guilty of this. And we don't give them enough information. In fact, it was a long time till one of my leads come up to me and just said, "Hey, I don't know how to say this to you, but a lot of times we feel embarrassed when we show up to the job and we're not exactly sure everything you're supposed to do." And I went, "Oh my goodness, he's serious." So I would start on the side of giving them too much information. Okay. A great big long scope of work and a whole bunch of pictures, whole folder of pictures. So start on the side of too much information because I don't know if it's possible to give them too much information.
Yeah.
But I know that most of us, especially when we're in a hurry, especially when we start stacking up estimate after estimate, don't give them enough information. So make sure you load them up with plenty of information.
Yeah, I'm pretty guilty of that. And it's been getting better, Juan, because I didn't start in the field. I did, but I didn't. I'm similar to Charlie, where I went full time. I worked full time and then about 2 years ago, the same. I was able to leave it go full time. And so the details from that end, talking to the painter, it's very important. And in my photos, I use drip jobs. I put everything in the scope and in the photo, so they can see what's going on, what needs to be done. I put arrows and everything on there to show this has this, that, this has that. Like you said, it's been helping as far as giving them more information. And like Steve mentions, too much information, it's okay. Get extra on that. And it's still a work in progress. It's still sometimes not enough. But I feel you, because who was it that said they were embarrassed to get on Steve. I have that still, and it's smoothed out and we play it off and they're like, "Sonia, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I missed that one," but it's okay. You still it's a learning experience. You just add on, okay, can you add that? I need to add that, or just go through it. Like, what would you do? Like me, I don't have that advantage of being the painter, but it's coming where I can see more of the details and figure it out. But since you've been in there, you're able to just walk through it. Like on other jobs, I can walk through something that I know really well. But with you, since you've been on there, you can go down and just imagine and just write every single little thing in there and put it down there. If it's overkill, it's all right. Just let them know about it.
Okay. Information is key.
That's it. Yes, sir. Like I said, I've never had one of them say, "You're giving us too much information." Not one time did I ever hear that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Florin, you're up.
Yeah, what I'm looking to is I have a job coming up. They send me a blueprint. And still people that are inside the house. I cannot go there to figure out what it is. Pretty much it's all full remodeling. So I'm trying to figure out the pricing, but I don't know how to read the blueprint. In the past, I've been on those remodels, so I can take a look what it is. They give me the profile when it comes to the baseboards and doors and everything, how much crown molding is going to be. But in that case, they send me the profile what it is, but the blueprint is completely different. They send me a picture with the measurement, but the thing is like how to read it. I have done it in the past, but not, they just give me a picture. I give them an estimate based on square foot, which I think is wrong because it's the height in some areas they are like 10 foot and some they are 18. It's a penthouse actually. So that's what I'm looking for. If you guys have any experience how to read the blueprint or any resource, so I can go through that resource to figure out what it is. Because, excuse me, I don't have any experience on that.
Anybody have a referral for a takeoff service?
I just collaborated with one of my colleagues that does flooring, and he has a system that's free that does takeoffs and so forth for you. But I can ask him for you, Florian, what system he uses, and what referral, and if that helps, maybe I can try. I know how to read blueprints, but I know because there's a spec sheet that they send you and everything like that, and you have to read off of that and know everything that they're asking you for. But I can ask him. He's a tile. He works for a commercial tile company, and he told me I have something that you could use, Sonia, but it's free. And if you want to just do takeoffs on, if you ever want to go in the commercial industry, I'm like, no. But anyways, yeah, okay.
It's small, the rulers have to go in every area to measure.
This one you don't. It's a system where you do the computer and you highlight it and it pulls out the measurements for you, walls, everything, I think.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'll
man.
see if he has it. Okay.
Oh man, back in my day, they used to drop off these great big rolls of prints.
Yes.
You had to roll them out, and you'd have to shut the phone off and close the door, and we'd have to unplug the phone back then and turn the Nextels off. And yeah. But no, so Lauren, I will I'll also reach out to some of my contacts, but do me a favor, email me. That'll be my reminder, because after the meeting, I'll probably forget. So send me an email, and I'll reach out to some contacts, see if I can find some takeoff sources for you as well. Okay, my pleasure. Hey, Seuss, you're up.
Yeah, so I have 2 here, but I think I figured it out. So one of them is habits. My habits were dropping horribly the last 2 weeks, but I picked them back up. And then my other one was, I know this because Steve taught everyone this, staying on your market. And when I get referrals from people I network with, they refer me to like jobs, let's say like Victorian homes, or jobs that I know they're low value and not on our market. I still show up to the estimate, which I should be saying no, and I waste time. And then I feel a little bit like, I don't know, I feel like I have to, but I know I should say no. But I feel like my no's are getting a lot better for sure. Just because the last 2 summers, I always said yes to everything, and we got slammed with our scheduled, and our guys were burned out. I was burned out, but that's my only struggle. I was struggling with the no's on referrals with the certain jobs that I know I shouldn't be doing, but I still show up. But now I know what I have to do, not show up. Yeah, I just tell them kindly, I appreciate it, but we wouldn't be able to help and just refer them to someone that could help them.
Yeah, the easiest way to refer these away are to say, unfortunately, for your project, our first availability isn't until, and then what you do is you look at your production calendar, which you take full ownership, and you say February or whatever it might be. And the only time you would consider taking on a project like this, or the slowest season of your calendar, and the idea is that it's far out because you would put all of your ideal projects first. Okay. And you say, however, the same breath, that's really important, comma, however, I have the name and number of a couple of the guys who could probably get to you much sooner. Would you like those? And every time they're happy about it because you did 2 things. Or they're happy because they don't have to start over and it's a referral.
Okay.
And you don't have to go out there.
I've had that a lot. A few of them this last month where people want me to look at a new home. I don't touch new homes, but I don't just tell them I don't do new homes. Sorry. I've already got 2 numbers on my phone that I just texted the number. Had a job last month as well where a painter had really messed up this lady's house, painted a brick house, did a horrible job. She paid like $6,000 for a job I ought to charge 15 grand for. I knew I was way out of her part. I told her, I said, look, I don't want to offend you, but I said, this is a much bigger job than what you're going to want to pay me. I said, but I know another guy, and I named his name. I said, he's a good guy. He'll take care of you. He doesn't charge as much as me, but he's dependable. And I put them 2 together, and she was still sending me text messages a week later, asking questions about other trades and just asking questions, thanking me for my time. I came away the hero, and I'm not even her customer. She's not my client.
Yeah,
It was really cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I've had that situation occur as well, I try to be just like Daryl was saying, I try to be super helpful. And I have this little line that I say to all of the people that call into Southeast Painting, and that is, advice is always free. And so they're comfortable calling, and they might call and ask things. And then I finish that with, hey, and by the way, if you found all this helpful, it would be great if you would just leave us a review on Google. And I've gotten several reviews that way, even though we didn't do a job necessarily. And they'll even say it specifically. They're like, I did not hire them. Like, I called in and they were absolutely super helpful and very knowledgeable.
That's good. I like that.
Yes, sir. Right on. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Seuss, just say no.
Yes.
Bryce.
Although we are waiting for your Irish limerick for this St. Patty's Day, Jesus Murphy. The Irish love you because every second word out of their mouth is your name.
Yeah.
So they actually came up to Jesus. Somebody came up to him and said, "Hey, when are you going to do those remarkable presentations again?"
So I
gotta
gotta do
get
this one this upcoming Monday for sure.
All right, gotta get this show back on the road. That's awesome. Bryce, you're up.
We are right now, we're in the middle of the start of busy season is already going and we're at full tilt, which is awesome. I'm at the point now where I realize that I need to get Monday.com rolling again. Through the wintertime, I slowed that down and I've been in the field a lot, but it's become very clear that I can't be in the field nearly as much as I'd like to, or as I've done in the past. But I actually have something to unpack, which is I think a lot of business and running your own business, and all of us understand this, is it's not always your IQ. And for the most part, it's about we know what to do. We have the DYB system. We've been doing this. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, all that sort of good stuff. But it's our EQ. It's having the emotional intelligence and managing our emotional well-being and our habits good enough to where we're operating consistently and effectively, and we're not letting the world get overwhelming and all that sort of good stuff. And this is me being a bit vulnerable, but I had a family member reach out to me. I grew up in a family of 12-step program. Both of my parents were involved in the Alcoholics Anonymous. And I've never really considered myself somebody who needed to be in the Alcoholics Anonymous. But my little sister and my little brother at some point in time were like, "Hey, man, we don't think you need to be in the Alcoholics Anonymous either." They were like, "But we'd really like you to consider going to what's called a CODA meeting." And CODA meetings are codependency meetings. And I just took their recommendation. And my little brother actually on Sunday took me to a CODA meeting. And as I'm sitting there going through and reading what it means to be somebody who's codependent, I felt like this extreme sense of relief because I was like, wow, I'm like, this really explains a lot of the struggles that I've had trying to manage my own emotional EQ throughout my business and my personal life. And it's really it laid out strategies and a program for how you can level up your EQ when you struggle with codependency, which is an interesting thing when you're reading through something that describes difficulties that people have. And you're like, wow, check, that applies to me. Check, that applies to me. Check, that applies to me. And it's not a whole lot to unpack, but necessarily what's been the theme is like, hey, this year it's about taking care of my EQ so that we can take care of the systems and the business and stay on top of things and be in good habits. And I found that to be a huge relief in some ways. So I'm very excited about that for the next couple of weeks and months as we move forward.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Bryce. That is so good to hear. Email me and I will send you my summary notes of EQ 2.0. And it might be a supplement to what you're going through there.
I love that. That sounds great. Thank you.
It talks about 4 quadrants of EQ. I really believe 2 of them are social quotient. They just roll it up into the emotional quotient, but they're powerful. And just to review even. So if anybody like those, just email me and I'll send you my notes there. We had them all designed up to look snazzy for leader class a few years ago. So they looks cool too. All right. But fantastic. Glad to hear that. Let's keep rolling. Yes, sir. Chris.
Oh man, that resonated with me a lot. And with Jesus is for me, learning to say no, I think is part of that taking care of yourself, whether it's saying no to clients or no to other guys. But anyways, I'm Chris Pecco with the Proud Paintbrush in Houston, Texas. My question is just about Facebook and just engaging people more on Facebook, being more involved in Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I don't like using it, but I was watching your thing, Steve, about how it's like that 80-20 rule. It's all about Facebook, right? That's where the bang for your buck is. So how do you earn whatever your influence is? So what's the best way? I know you're very active on Facebook. I know you can also like schedule out posts and have them all flowing out. What kind of posts do you recommend having? I know like I've seen stuff about your paying it forward stuff and kind of like that's reaching out to the community is really good. I used to post pictures of our work and stuff like that and try to do cool reels, and felt like that's more just about how cool we look painting than it is necessarily about feeling like a painting company that you want to work with, right? So any suggestions about that?
I love this question. Thank you. So if it weren't for business, I wouldn't use Facebook. Back when it first came out, I was not interested. I despised it. It wasn't for about 6 months or a year that I finally got the opportunity, or I got it, meaning I understood the opportunity there. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a platform that's going to allow me, as long as I'm creative, unique, and post remarkable and engaging content, to stay top of mind to my entire network, friends, and clients for free. Okay, let's do this. And so what do? You make it all about engaging content. It goes back to one of the principles. So don't be selling, no ads, because people, if they know you, this is top of mind. So this is more branding than lead gen. Facebook's not lead gen, it's branding and top of mind. Step 9 system, right? Stay top of mind. It's one of the easiest tools and free to stay top of mind. All you have to do is be creative. And so if you notice, think back through all my posts. And again, I only use my personal profile. And back when we built Burnett Painting, I only use my personal profile. Occasionally, somebody on our team will post something to our business profile, but just because they're going above and beyond and they think, oh, hey, they're going to love this, but I don't use it because people want to connect with people. Okay, so that's rule number 1, personal profile. I care less about the business, never used it, don't need it. It's there just to run ads. Don't recommend running ads for painting contractors. Please don't. The ROI is not there. Or at least I have not seen a case study where it's been positive yet. Okay. So if you're posting on your personal, you post engaging content. Now think about this. How often do you see me posting images of DYB Coach logo, or talking about DYB Coach, or coming and joining our membership, our mastermind? Sometimes my team will post a shorter reel, on there, but my personal post on there, it's not, right? It's all about fun stuff. I try to think about something fun or engaging. I try to never make a statement, very rarely. And I don't schedule them. I tried, it just doesn't work. Instead, when inspiration comes, I post it, but I frame it in a question. I frame it in a way that'll generate a conversation, because you want as many comments as you can get, because the more comments you get, you can reply. The more times you comment and reply, the more algorithm you'll receive. In case more comments and replies, the more Facebook will show it to others. Right. So be thinking about engaging. And so I'll post things that are funny, edgy. When I say edgy in a good way. Okay. Jeep hanging off the edge. That's edgy. Okay. And so I make a big deal about Jeeps, just like back with the painting company. I made a big deal about Starbucks coffee. And before you know it, people are sending me Starbucks mugs, and they're checking into Starbucks like, Steve, I'm here. Where are you at? Because I made such a big deal about it. And I stumbled onto that one. I'll save that story for another time. But find a unique hobby that isn't common, and post about it. Whether it's like, I've used Starbucks, alligators when I was in Florida, bulldogs, right? We've had bulldogs, Jeeps, and then I also family times, post things about guns, because a little bit, I'll just put that out there a little bit, depending on the network, and as long as it doesn't go sideways, because it's not that I'm not trying to make a political statement. I could care less about the politics, right? But post engaging posts and ask questions. Try to never make a statement, just to ask questions. And your goal is not to generate leads. Your goal is to stay top of mind. If you stay top of mind, the leads will take care of themselves.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Sure.
Are you adding all your clients on Facebook?
Yes, and yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Even what about leads and estimates? Should I just go ahead and after an appointment, just add them on Facebook?
If you like them, sure. Go for it. You're already at no.
Yeah. Okay. And then you said there's no ROI on paid ads with Facebook at all?
Okay. I have not seen a paid ad that was successful yet, that had a successful ROI. Now they'll talk about ROI, return on ad spend, which is baloney. It's garbage. That doesn't mean anything to us. And they'll say they'll send you 40 leads, But how they define a lead is different than how we define a lead. For us, a lead is an estimate. We show up and write an estimate. That's a lead. They define a lead as if somebody enters a contact into the form. That's not a lead for us. And usually those are bogus or waste of time or just a pain.
Chris, I
So-
know Facebook's geographic. Sometimes it can work better in one area than another area. I've done Facebook ads in the past. I never got a single lead off, not even one. It's funny Steve brings that up because I do my Facebook business, but it's not my primary. I'll do my Instagram and it just goes to my Facebook, and then I'll post something on my personal as well. I get way more feedback and action on my personal. But I say all that to say that I got my very first that I can remember, you can book me, and where did you hear about us at? And the answer was Facebook. And I was, oh, that's gonna be a really cold lead. Still gonna go look at it tomorrow. So I just say Facebook is top of mind. Steve is so right, because I'm not looking forward to looking at this job too much tomorrow.
Now, also, Instagram helps. Okay. A lot of people go on Instagram. So what you do is you just connect them so that every time you post something on Facebook, if anybody's connected with me on Instagram, you see my post there. I don't have the app, guys. I haven't logged into Instagram. Can't remember the last time. I don't use it. I don't have it. It's too big of a distraction for me. And it just when I post images, from Facebook, it goes automatically to Instagram for me. But Instagram's a good visual for painting companies. You can have it connected so that when you post, but the challenge is you can't create a conversation on Instagram. Facebook is where the conversation happens. When you get a conversation going, you get more algorithm. You've got a winner if you get about 30 comments. That's a winner. That's a home run. You get 50 or more, those are grand slams. And so just when you see something that's engaged, might generate a conversation, and you can have fun at the same time, post it, run it. And each one's a test, right? Each one's a test. And if it doesn't take off in an hour, you can delete it if you want to. Sometimes I delete mine. If they don't take off, I'm like, all right, that didn't work. And I delete it because I might have a better idea in another hour for something that might be engaging and fun. And with everything, it's GIE, gratitude, inspiration, entertainment.
Official for you if you post your Google reviews for your client on the Facebook? Does that work?
So you can do it once in a while, but that is an ad, so be careful. And if you do, frame it, giving your team praise, and post a picture of your team or whoever was there. Make it all about them. Then it's not as much of an ad, right?
Yeah. I told Steve last week or a couple weeks ago, I paid $50 on a Facebook ad. It wasn't an ad, but one of my employees did a walk around video of the job. So I wanted him to see there's a lot of views on it, and it got hundreds of views. And so he was really excited. And so it cost me $50, and it gave Will a lot of encouragement to go out and do more videos. So Will has done probably 3 videos to my 1 in the last month. So it's been pretty cool. But I did one ad. I didn't do any more. And it was just, I didn't get anything off of it, but it gave Will a lot of encouragement.
I've been seeing his videos. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think something that's worked well for me is that I like to break it down into thirds, where it's 1/3 is like a hobby or interest, like Steve was talking about, where I like cooking, and that engages a lot of people. And then another one is just like the fun stuff that's going on in my life, which is just they're like, oh man, we feel like we know Bryce because like we follow along and see what his life looks like. And then the last third is I've found I do really well when I'll do like a video or a post, and when it's involving our painting projects, I try to find the most interesting and weird and unique little odd thing that most people might not think about and do a quick little blurb about it. And people love those, where it's, look at this super crazy, weird, and unique thing that we experienced or that we went. And I find that doesn't look as much like an ad. It's more, gosh, isn't this strange? And people love talking about that. Oh, wow, I'd never have that on my house. Or, wow, I want something like that on my house. It works really good.
Right on. Absolutely. Chris, I think we loaded you up with a ton of ammo there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
We'll be looking for your engaging posts, and we're all going to jump in and get that algorithm rolling for you. Okay.
That's right.
Awesome. Sonia, you're up.
I'm coming from the outside in, not helping off the tools out. I brought in a colleague that has more experience than I do. We ran into a pickle, and that's where I was coming in going, oh my goodness, how do I work this out where I didn't know, like, you're supposed to dust off the prep work. It had to do with the prep work. I don't want to get into the details, but it's all in the prep work and how to know how to discuss that with my painters. There's just certain aspects of these older, just the prep work, like taking off the caulking. We had one situation where I'm like, did you just put caulking over the old caulking? Gross, it looks awful. Types of things like that. And it's just that kind of stuff right now where I'm running into just those kind of areas where I miss a beat. Just say, this is my expectation of the prep work. And then go from there. But I don't know that. And so that I'm like, who do I watch? Who do I go see to be able to have that language to be able to explain to them, this is my expectation, or have it in the SOP or whatever I need to have.
Can I throw my 2 cents in quickly, or Steve, do you normally?
Please, no, hit it.
Okay, I'm trying to find my way around the group with you guys.
Mhm.
So I did something a while back, which a while back is relatively speaking, but on all of my initial estimate meetings with clients, I use the old PDC, and this is not going to solve all those problems, but I use the old PDCA standards on preparation levels. So I have in my estimate the basic degree of surface degradation, but I don't use all of the specific terminology that's in the PDCA guidelines, but I'll go through like level 0 is a sound surface, level 1 is slightly deteriorated, but I do it in more layman's terms for the customers. So we agree upon, let's say we're doing 3-bedroom repaint and interior. We're all agreeing that the current condition is whatever it is. We're spelling that out. So some of them I'll just go with a standard wear and tear, but it'll be level 1. And then that corresponds to a preparation level, which is also according to PDCA standards. And I have this little book, my field production guidebook that I always use. And then on that estimate, it lays out exactly what we're doing. So for level 2, we're filling nail holes, we're sanding and feathering the sanding. Miner's existing profile will still exist. We go through that in detail, again, in terms that the customer can understand. And then when I translate that to our crews, they have specific instructions in terms of the expectation on the drywall finishing, for example, and then I'll add notes on the caulking. And that kind of goes back to what Daryl was saying with the details that you're giving to the crew, and the details roll back to your initial conversation with the client. So you have the opportunity for clients to see things that they thought were going to be done that weren't, which sometimes it's fair and sometimes it's not. And then you have the crews knowing exactly what your expectations are. Then going further than that, you have a work order that has the number of hours that you're scoping out for drywall prep to get to that level of finish, which is where that may be a little bit trickier for you. Sometimes it's still tricky for me because that may be subjective to a certain extent, as in I may see that as a 5-hour prep in that room where our crews are going to always probably want to see it longer than the way that we see it. We're always going to want to see it shorter. So there's that gap, but that's been tremendous for me. My final walkthroughs there's never an issue at this point in time because of that.
That was wonderful. And where do I get can I grab your little book? Can I see it?
This looks kind of old school, but you can get this on, I think, on the PCA's standards somewhere. They have a document on the PCA, if you remember, you can get that, but I can share this if anyone's interested. But it's a really short, brief section on surface preparation that I felt like went a long way when I had a different mindset around what I was trying to achieve.
And that's going to be gold. That's actually something that I need, because that's something I'm trying to get well versed even on my estimates. And I hate just coming in there winging it. Sometimes that's how I feel. And I'm generating, but I'm just like, okay, we talked about when we were in the estimating class, confidence. And so that's where my confidence can shy down, because I'm like, yeah, wait a minute. And then they're like, huh? I'm like, yeah, we're going to do like that. So it's nice to, and I want to be like, just like you mentioned, just what you said, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to sound like that when I'm on the job. And I can imagine I could win better, because you could see I noticed that I'm losing estimates on some jobs that I would really like to have, but because the other painter that came in and when I've been able to call back and go, we may have some feedback, and some of what you just mentioned, some of those details were lacking. And so they could tell, and that's where I lose out. And I was like, okay, I want to get better and strengthen that area.
Yeah. Jim Rohn said it best. He said, don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. That is one of the biggest things Jim Rohn has ever said that has taken me to heart, because if it was easy, they'd all be doing it. So we want to be better and bigger than we are right now. And so that's been my biggest thing with that, is just, if I lose a job, I want to learn, why did I lose that job? Because there's always a reason, and it's almost never money. I lost a job, and they say it was money, it's almost never money. It's because I didn't show the value. I wasn't confident. didn't slow down on my presentation or whatever, it's almost never money, even though I'm a lot higher. But I just always want to make myself better.
Right on. Very good. Thank you, Daryl. Charlie, that was fantastic. Craig, you're up.
I guess my big thing is I burned through some big projects and we're closing them off, and I just need some immediate work. Just I know that things will start to pick up. Like up here, it's March break, so all the kids are off school, and I know as soon as they go back to school, then parents will be like, "Oh, we need to get stuff painted," and usually that's one of those triggers for starting the spring and summer projects. But yeah, just need to fill in a couple of weeks for the crew. I need some strategies I'm calling out to previous clients, and I've done a mailing of send out cards. I did that for Leap Day. Yeah, just any other suggestions would be helpful.
Have you been doing door to door?
No, I have not.
Craig, to that, what you want to do is courtesy canvassing. Before you go door to door, you start with courtesy canvassing. That's where you work around jobs you're doing or you've done recently, or jobs you're going to do. And you would just adjust this accordingly so that obviously we act with integrity. But you introduce yourself, you knock, you introduce yourself. Say we're doing a job down the road. If a piece of paper or tape or something blows into your yard, here's my card. Please call me so we can come pick it up right away. Courtesy canvassing. That's the warmest door to door you can do, and then you just adjust it from there.
We have that. We have done courtesy, and we do have that. We have two different door hangers. One of them is our courtesy for what Steve said. The other one is for cold door knocking, which we have not done yet, but I have them ready.
There you go. Right on. Now you leave those if they don't answer the door. Always knock, a personal touch, connect with them, let them meet you and experience you to see that, hey, he seems like a trustworthy guy versus a door hanger. So a door hanger is good if you don't get to meet them. Right. You want to hand them a card. You want that warm connection. And then next is go through every estimate you've done since the beginning of time. Every open estimate. All right, Harvey McKay, somebody asked Harvey McKay, how long should you follow up? He says, till one of you dies. All right, and you guys remember my story of Art from New Jersey? Followed up for 6 years and got the job. Yeah.
Those New Jersey people, they're tough to crack.
Yeah, they are. He was actually he's one of the nicest ones. Yeah. But, and so go through every estimate and don't listen to your self-talk. If the job hasn't been awarded, call them. If the job hasn't been, you're already at no. You can't get any more no than what you are. So if it has been awarded, call them. And then go through your customer list. And we should be, as a normal habit, calling 2 a day. But anytime my clients get slow, it's call 10 of them. Call 10 of them a day. And again, it's just to say hi. We forget they hired us because they like us. They want to know how we're doing. They want to know how your cat's doing. They want to know what brand of coffee that you're brewing up. They want to know these things. Just call them and ask them how they're doing. And then call back any point of how's that pesky dog doing? How's that? Anything personal that you can remember from them, their kids, college, neighbors, whatever it might have been that came up while you were there. And just call to say hi. That's it. I just called to say hi and leave it alone. Watch what happens. Call 10 a day.
Got it.
And then double up on your networking.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Charlie, you're up.
Okay.
Let you go last just so you can get a feel.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. My big thing that I'm trying to figure out really is more of a business model question. I think at this point, I mean, everything always looks good to me on paper when I'm doing, and I was just doing 100-hour weeks. So in my deluded mind, I'm like, oh, everything's fine. And I do a lot, but I feel like not a lot of what I think is happening is actually really happening, which I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like I'll spend time in my mind thinking that processes are going well, but they're really not. So I'm seeing that now. But the main catalyst for that really is at a $28,000 to $35,000 a month. I'm okay. Everything seems to be going pretty good. But now, January and February, we were at 40,000, and we have 50 to 60 on the table signed for March and April, and still trying to keep the estimates flowing. And now I feel like I'm maxed out again, even though I have another 60 hours a week that's back. The goal for me was never to be like, oh, I'm going to keep my 100-hour weeks going like I did for the last year, because that was torturous. So my question is, how do you get to this point where you can have your crews running, without a lot of direct oversight? Everything Daryl said in the beginning of when we were meeting resonated with me, because I'm thinking the other way. I have a part-time project manager that started this week, which is taking a lot of time for me to get them trained up and come up with weekly checkpoints. And I'm doing Loom SOP videos to help train them up. So I'm like, all right, is that the best way to spend time? Because there's a long runway for this person to be able to do what I'm doing. So I'm just bouncing around ideas, because when I was out of the picture working a full-time job during the day, I was relying a lot on my crews, and I would designate a production leader or a foreman, however you want to say it, on the job. So they were doing a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now. So I give that back to them and rely more on the crews, which I found that there's only really so much that my particular crews could really take before they start to give up on some of that and say, it's better for me to just focus on painting. I have Gavin, one of my painters. He's phenomenal with customers. He can handle that, but I find that's few and far between right now, and that everyone else is mostly wanting to focus on painting. And when they don't, they forget to clean up well at the end of the job, and their staging areas don't look good because they're talking to customers and doing all this stuff. So my business model question is, I mean, this may be like an individual, my business question, but I'm curious to see the wider group. Are we having a strong back office or a strong office that has the project management that's more heavy on that side? Or are we relying more on our crews that are out on the field to take care of some of this stuff? And then once you get 2-3 crews out there that are booked out and you're double booked because you're running multiple projects, like you have project kickoffs, 2 happening on Tuesday and 3 happening on Thursday, can't be there for all of them. So I'm just wondering what that really looks like from a production management standpoint. And then Daryl, I guess my specific question along what you said was, I'm like, man, that sounds great. I'd love to not be at those kickoffs, because I used to do virtual and video kickoffs while I was in Manhattan working. So that's my big thing. It's like, how does this really work? Because I never had to address it, because in the past I was always like, the answer is I can't be there. So everyone has to do more.
Awesome. So to simplify the question, how to build $1 million business that can operate without you?
Yes.
Maybe. That's probably what I'm saying.
So here we go. Step 1, hire for character. Step 1 is hire for character. Now, a lot of times we think we do, and we think our guys are good, but if you consider, this is all we know as our guys, and we think our guys are good because we know them, we're comfortable with them. Sometimes it's the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. You know you're hiring for character, and you have character with competence. Pardon me, character with competence. We have that if they take such good care of the customer for you that you don't even need to stop by. You have that when you stop by and the customer's like, oh, hey, Charlie, nice to see you. What are you doing here? Something wrong? Right? Because they have so much confidence in the guys in the team that they've provided that security for the customer. They've provided such a great experience, right? We focus on the experience, not how they're doing a good job, but they're providing great experience. So that's the one component. The other one is that we have a strong tech stack, right? Which handles all the heavy lifting of the admin and operations to deliver, to have the information ready for them. You've heard a couple mention Monday.com, and then somebody mentioned Drip Jobs, which are a couple components of a strong tech stack. So character with competence and a strong tech stack will get you to $1 million. At about the 750, 800, you'll need a part-time admin. You will not need, should not need an additional person until about 1.2 to 1.5. And at that point, it'd be a salesman, not a project manager, because your culture is so strong with competence and your tech stack is so strong that a salesman that you bring on can sell $1 million and manage it himself, because there isn't much managing, because your crews are so responsible and so competent that all they need is the information. As long as we feed them plenty of information, work orders and whatnot, they handle it and they take care of it, and they create raving fans, they collect video testimonials and get referrals and move on to the next one.
I'm sorry to cut you off. No, that's good. I had a huge rude awakening. I think I mentioned this to you, Steve. I thought I was hiring for character, and I realized that I was very wrong about that decision with some stuff that was going on there. But do you find that, so right now we're a hybrid, so we're like half full-time guys and half subs. This model tends to break down, in my opinion, when you're sub heavy, because I feel like the oversight is just different. Getting people in line with your culture is a little bit different. Scheduling is a little bit different. It's a lot easier to do with crews, but also there's a lot more focus on your labor budgets, obviously, with full-time crews. I've even considered, this is a side question, I'm really unsure about this one, but there's like piecework kind of budget projects where you pay your full-time guys on a budget, you track their labor hours. There's a software or a program called Protiv, I think, that does that for you, where it manages labor hours, where they're getting paid essentially for their production, not on an hourly rate with employees, not so. So do you find that'll work with a hybrid sub-employee model as well? Because I just don't see that level of engagement with subs. Like, they'll do a great job, but they're still on the mentality that, like, it's my business and I'm filling in work. I'm not here committed to you necessarily.
Yeah. And that's the challenge with subs. So there are pros and cons to both. With employees, you have better control over culture and customer experience. Okay. Also loyalty. With subs, you don't have as much influence on culture and customer experience. All right. But you can scale faster. So what do we want to do? For me now, I preferred employees. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I know some guys call me like, I know you don't like subs. I've never said that. Okay. We've used subs. We'd use subs to backfill projects when we just couldn't get to them and the schedule is just busting at the seams. Okay. So subs are okay. I just prefer, me personally, I prefer to prioritize customer experience and culture. I love that more. And when I focused on that, the dollars took care of themselves. Right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's great, actually. Thank you.
And in a big way. Okay.
Yeah.
Now with subs, you can scale faster, but to me, I'd rather have culture, experience, and again, the dollars take care of themselves. Yeah.
And would you ever consider paying a crew on a production basis?
I did consider it. Yeah. Many times I had a friend who we were in a mastermind together and he had a pest control company. And that's what he did. And so I was trying to figure out a way to model. And the laws vary from state to state, but in Florida, you're allowed to do that as long as they're clearing minimum wage, which should be pretty easy for us, except if a job goes sideways and they dip below. But even still, like, we could make them whole minimum wage. It shouldn't be an issue. I have considered it, but we never implemented it.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to roll out with takeaways. Juan, would you lead the way, please?
Yes, my big takeaways, I'm going to check on the Monday.com.
There you go. Right on. I've got a link for you. It's an affiliate link. You don't have to use it, but if you do, that would help me and I'll help you set up your first board.
Okay.
Like a deal? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Florin, takeaways?
Okay, I'm looking for that blueprint. I send you an email. So take a look when you have a chance, Steve.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Got
Thank
it. Thank you. Jesus, takeaways?
Yes, say no and give value.
Yes.
Right on.
Mhm.
Great job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Daryl?
Yeah. I'm gonna dig deeper into the EQ stuff. So I'm looking forward to those notes from you.
Actually, they are already in your private mastermind chat.
Yeah, I
Snuck
saw
them in
that.
there during the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
I downloaded already.
There you go. Okay. And they're great. And I look at them too. We can always level up, just like our intelligence. We got all these books behind me to keep increasing knowledge. We can always increase our emotional intelligence too. And just when you think you're emotionally sound, let me challenge you when you're tired, stressed, and cash flow is tight. And let's see where your EQ is. So there's always an opportunity to level it up. So right on, guys.
Really looking forward to going through the EQ 2.0 myself as well. And I think that's the key for a lot of us as we enter into the busy season, is keeping us focused in our routines and habits and overwhelmed. And also, I think a lot of that gets down to saying no. I didn't say that the first time, but saying no is critical.
Yes, sir. Right on. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you for sharing earlier too. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Chris.
For Facebook, you want to have remarkable and engaging content, no ads, focus on branding, stay top of mind, comments and replies to boost your posts, gratitude, inspiration, entertainment, make Google reviews about the team, boost employee videos, love that one. 1/3 hobby, 1/3 fun stuff, 1/3 interesting / quirky posts related to work. There's some
Is that all?
homework.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. All right, Sonia.
How to do that EQ thing? What is that? And then the PCA standards. That's a takeaway for me, but how do I get that again? Just go on the site and go get it?
Yeah, right from their website.
Right from the website, but do you have to be a member for that?
I don't think so. I think they're public.
But that's my takeaway. What was that? Get better, something, always want to get better.
Constant, never ending improvement.
Yes.
Yeah, right on. Thank you. Greg?
Just reaching out to previous clients and open estimates. That's a big takeaway.
Awesome. Do us a favor. As soon as you line something up,
Let us know.
Yeah, I will do.
Let us know in the comments. We can cheer you on, please, in the chat. All right. And Charlie, close us out through takeaways.
Very impactful quote. Don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. And that applies, that really hit home, because I think that's a lot of what's going on in my own brain right now. It's, you didn't hire for character, you didn't do a bunch of things you thought you did. It's not going to get easier, just get better at doing it. So
Indeed. Right on. That was Jim Rohn. Just to
yes,
give proper credit. Where
Anything
credit's
Jim
due.
Rohn is worth listening to or reading.
Yeah. Yep. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business. It's another one of my favorite Jim Rohn quotes. All right. Thank you. All stars. I want to encourage you guys to continue to do exactly what it says behind Jesus' shoulder there up on the wall. Dream big, hustle smarter. You've got this. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye,
see you
everybody.
later. Take care.